by your Suncoast GMC truck dealers. And by your Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Welcome to Week 2 of Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason football. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers battle the Cincinnati Bengals from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. A pleasant good evening to you, everyone. I'm Tom Mees, along with Chris Collinsworth. And Chris, the Bucs get off the bus yesterday. Sam Wyche is treated like royalty in this town.
The Finneytown band was there to greet him. And yeah, Sam's got a lot of good friends in this town. And, of course, a lot of good memories because he was the coach that took this team to the Super Bowl back in 1988, a game that we definitely should have won down there, Tom. But for Sam Wyche, I'm sure it's been a nice homecoming.
Now, for Trent Dilfer, he'd like to have a nice visit, but he's got to cut down on the interceptions. He wants to make a bit of a statement tonight.
Yeah, and I didn't think Trent played very well at all last week. He just looked a little nervous in the pocket. Sometimes that happens to young quarterbacks. They've been going through camp. They haven't been hit. This is the week that we need to see a little progress out of Trent Dilfer. Apparently this week in practice, he's looked awfully sharp.
Defensively for the Bucs, I thought the rookie from Florida State, Derrick Brooks, was outstanding last week.
Yeah, Derrick Brooks, no question about it. A couple of the coaches that I talked with said that they think he can be a Pro Bowl player one day. Unfortunately, Warren Sapp probably is not going to be able to play in this one. He has a little bit of a flu right now, so we'll see whether or not he gets in there.
Now, in Cincinnati, do we have a quarterback controversy brewing? I mean, Jeff Blake and David Klingler both played very well in their first game.
You know, one of the amazing things for Cincinnati is to have any quarterback play well. Now they've got two. Jeff Blake, one of the best deep passers that I've seen in the National Football League, and David Klingler, after a little bit of elbow surgery in the offseason, he was awfully sharp last week.
What about Dave Shula, Chris? In your opinion, is this the year he has to start to win here?
Well, you never know with Mike Brown. He has a good relationship with the owner, Mike Brown, and Dave Shula is a guy that you would think that this would be it. And so there's a lot of pressure on him to try and get it done. But offensively last week against the Indianapolis Colts, they began to solve the puzzle, if you will. And if they can continue down that road, maybe this should be the year for the Bengals to turn it around.
Should be a very interesting ball game tonight. Both teams, of course, eager to improve on lackluster years during last year's regular season. Both teams have some injuries to deal with. We'll get into that as the game rolls along. Kickoff just moments away. It's the Bucs and the Bengals coming up next from Cincinnati.
You never know when you'll come face to face with a regular-looking phone wired to a no-name company. Will you and your card be rejected? We're sorry.
How can you be sure you'll get AT&T?
Know the code. Dial 1-800-CALL-ATT.
You can use the code for all your card calls across the country or across town. 1-800-CALL-ATT. Dial it for every call you make when you're away from home.
And you'll never worry about no-name phone company charges again.
That's your true choice. AT&T.
What a sandwich!
Taco Bell introduces the Texas Taco Sandwich. Oven-baked flatbread with chicken or beef and a tangy southwestern sauce. Starting at 99 cents. Tastes so big, it ought to be outlawed. Yummy.
95 summer closeout. Next stop, Chevy Geo. And the time to deal is now. Factory incentives in the thousands. Up to $1,500 on selected models. New trucks from $97.27. New cars under 8. Financing as low as 6.9% for up to 48 months. Special savings for first-time buyers, college grads. Low down payments, maybe no down payments at all. 95 summer closeout. Your next stop, Chevy Geo. Shop one of your Bay Area Chevrolet Geo dealers today.
Welcome back live to the jungle, and it's a steamy jungle at that. 90 degrees at kickoff time as the Bengals meet the Bucs. Preseason action, Tom Mees along with Chris Collinsworth. And Chris, the Bengals winning the toss but electing to defer. They'll kick off to start this game.
Well, maybe the Bengals want to take a look at Sam Wyche's offense as well. You know, he's always been one to create a little excitement early in the game, so maybe that's what they had in mind.
Well, back to receive the kickoff. There you see number 2, Clarence Redan, number 28, Curtis Buckley, kicking off for the Bengals, and he's in a battle with Doug Pelfrey as Lee Johnson. The two of them will handle the kickoffs tonight.
But both those guys will make the team. Of course, Lee Johnson doubles as the punter on this team as well, and Doug Pelfrey with the great season last year with the field goals.
And you saw a moment ago, look at Trent Dilfer trying to better his performance from last week against the New York Jets. Johnson tees it up to the 30, and we're underway from Riverfront in Cincinnati. And it'll be taken by Buckley at the goal line. Buckley over the 20 to the 21-yard line. Chris Schelling the first to hit him for Cincinnati. So Trent Dilfer and the Bucs will start just over their 20. Field position was a problem for them last week against the Jets.
And to be perfectly honest, Trent Dilfer was a problem for them last week as well. He needs to come out here in this second preseason game and really establish himself. Not so much for the fans in Tampa Bay, but for those other 10 guys on the field with him.
First and 10 at the 21. We'll go over the offensive lineman for the Bucs after this first down call. Of course, Sam Wyche getting a lot of fanfare coming back to Cincinnati. First time he's returned since leaving at Christmas Eve back in '91. Dilfer to throw. Horace Copeland brings it in and steps out of bounds after about a 5 or 6 yard gain. Roger Jones on the cover.
And Horace Copeland getting the start tonight because he had such a good game a week ago. 6 catches, just under 100 yards, and very deserving of the start this evening.
There you see the offensive line rounding out the offensive unit in the backfield. Of course, Dilfer along with Rhett Ellison. The receivers, Horace Copeland, Lawrence Dawsey, Jackie Harris. The main 3 targets for Trent Dilfer, and some action on the Bengals defensive front. Flags all over the place. Eric Rhett takes it for about a yard or so. Mike Flores, starting at defensive end tonight, brought him down.
And the good news is that Trent Dilfer already looks a little more settled coming out in this one than he did to open the ball game last time.
Offside, defense.
And a free first down.
Moving into the neutral zone prior to the snap. 5 yards.
Penalty will
first down.
The ball over the 31-yard line. And it's a first and 10 from the 32.
I thought the best that Trent looked last week was just before the first half when they came out in the 2-minute offense. Apparently Sam felt the same way. They've come right out with it here tonight.
There you see graphically the lineup for the Bengals starting this one tonight. Cincinnati won their first preseason game last week against Indianapolis. Here's Eric Rhett again. And Rhett has the whole close on him after a gain up to the 35-yard line. Keith Rucker the first to hit him.
Working out there over that left side, of course, Paul Gruber, the great player at tackle for the Buccaneers. Charles McRae trying to make the move back inside after originally being drafted as a tackle himself, now playing guard.
Bit of some no-huddle offense here, Chris, as the Bucs don't take much time before snapping the ball. And it's the play fake by Dilfer going long across the middle, and it's caught for a first down at the 45-yard line. Dilfer put that one on target. And the tight end Harris was the receiver.
The poise in the pocket is the difference from a week ago. You see him standing in there, having a little confidence in that offensive line. That looks like somebody you draft with the 5th pick overall.
So Jackie Harris, 6th-year veteran out of Northeast Louisiana, pulls it in. First and 10 for the Bucs at the Bengal 45. Eric Rhett, the lone setback. Dilfer looking right all the way, has Harris again. And Harris is brought down there by number 50, James Francis, left linebacker. Now Dilfer looking over towards the bench to get a play and a couple of changes made. Coaches said that during the week that he seemed to click all of a sudden, Chris, that the offense seemed more comfortable to him.
You never know, some of those boos that he heard a week ago may have been a bit of a wake-up call.
Dilfer changing the play, obviously, at the line. Give is to Rhett. Eric Rhett down to the 35, close to the first down.
I always thought the biggest advantage with Sam Wyche's no-huddle offense was that you take a look over at those big 300-pounders on the defensive line for the Cincinnati Bengals, and already they've got their hands on their hips and a little bit winded, a little bit tired, and you just don't seem to get the pass rush or the aggressive play out of those guys that you would ordinarily get.
The biggest of those big linemen, Dan Wilkinson, they call him Big Daddy. He's a hefty 6'5", 313. Where's number 99? Eric Rhett with a hole inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Nearly another Buccaneer first down. Eric Rhett hitting the hole with speed tonight. Andre Collins made the tackle.
Very deserving of his NFC Rookie of the Year award last season. And Eric Rhett just doing a nice job, as he did at the University of Florida, finding the hole. And the thing you like about Eric Rhett is he will put that head down and get those extra couple of yards.
Just short of the first down. Call it 2nd and inches. Jerry Ellison, who had such an excellent effort last week against the Jets, the lone setback. Dilfer steps up and tried to hit Ellison. Knocked away nicely there by Francis. So James Francis bats that one away. It'll be second down.
Jerry Ellison just so sharp. A week ago made a couple of nice catches and runs after the catch. See him getting a little piece of the defensive lineman, then slipping out late. And that's really what I was hoping to see out of Trent Dilfer tonight. Someone that was willing to take a blow. It's much more settled so far.
Third down in inches. I believe I said second. Call it third in inches. Again, the man in motion is Ty.J. Armstrong to give to Rhett. Flag on the play, and Eric Rhett is stacked up right at the line. A host of Bengals there to meet him. Kimo Van Olhoffen, number 67, one of the first. Dick Hantak is our referee tonight. It appears that the judgment is going against Cincinnati. So that'll be another first down for Tampa Bay.
First down.
Bengals keeping this Tampa Bay alive or helping it out on the first series.
Yeah, and this Cincinnati defense really is not that bad. They did a great job last week against Craig Erickson and Marshall Falk and company against the Indianapolis Colts. So far a very impressive drive by the Buccaneers.
Rhett, the lone setback. First and 10 for the Bucs on the 20-yard line of Cincinnati. Very impressive first drive, and Rhett picking his way through the holes and dances inside the 15 down to the 12-yard line. Run down by about 2 or 3 Bengals. Rucker chief among them.
One thing you never question about Eric Rhett is his toughness. The high school heavyweight champion in the state of Florida. And you know when he gets in a tough situation, he's going to more than hold his own physically.
And Eric was so upset. It was he who rolled up on the leg of Alvin Harper last week. We understand he called Alvin about 15 times this week just to say he was sorry and wishing him a speedy recovery. And here is Rhett again inside the 10. Another first down. It'll be first and goal. And that Tampa Bay offensive line is pushing people out of the way.
They sure are. And why not go behind the big guy over there, Paul Gruber? I think that Paul Gruber's as good a tackle as there is playing in the league today. Maybe just a notch below a couple of the Willie Roafs and some of those guys. But certainly the best offensive lineman that Tampa has.
First and goal on the 8. Double wideouts now for Tampa Bay. Lawrence Dawsey and Charles Wilson both to the top of your screen. Ty.J. Armstrong is in the slot left and Rhett the lone setback. 2 seconds on the play clock. Eric Rhett again. Why not? It's working so far tonight, and Rhett stumbles down to the 5 just inside it there. Andre Collins, who's been a busy man early, brought him down.
And I really like what Sam Wyche is doing on this early drive. He came out and allowed his young quarterback to complete a couple of the easier passes, some short, quick passes. But then he turned to the guy that you know has to be the workhorse this year, and that's Eric Rhett.
Wilson to the right. Dawsey high out to the left. On second down and goal from the 5. Movement again along the line of scrimmage. Rhett down near the goal line inside the 2, but let's hold up for the penalty. I didn't see any movement on the Tampa Bay offensive line, but you never know.
Little H-back trap that time out of Ty.J. Armstrong. He'll come in short motion and then knock the blitzing backer off his wheels and open up the hole for Eric Rhett.
Dick Hantak will tell us about it. I think the neutral zone was
offside.
Penetrated.
Defensive player moved into the neutral zone prior to the snap. Will penalize half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. Second down.
So that'll set up Tampa Bay even closer. What are they going to mark that? About the 1?
They'll end up taking that one half the distance. Maybe lose a yard in the actual placement, but you take the down.
So it remains second down and goal from just outside the 2. Bucs looking good on their first drive, and they're eating up some time. 8:40 left to go in the first quarter. Armstrong in motion. Rhett cuts back the other way, and he is stopped just short of the goal line. First man to get a piece of him was Roger Jones, along again with Andre Collins.
It's a play that Sam used to run all the way back in his Cincinnati days. It really looks like it's going to be an off-tackle left play, but the back has the discretion of moving really anywhere up and down that line, but more often than not, it will cut all the way back.
All right, 3rd down and goal from the 1. Bucs have 3 wide receiver spread, but the give is to Rhett. He cuts behind Gruber. Can he get in? The leg still churning, and Eric Rhett for the touchdown. What an effort by number 32. Wow.
We told you Eric Rhett was the heavyweight wrestling champion. This time around, he gets into Rod Jones, the defensive back, number 25, and goes for the reversal and then the pin. Great play, great effort.
Jones with a takedown, but that's not as good as the pin. Not in the end zone anyway. So 6-0 Tampa Bay. Eric Rhett on that drive, Chris. 8 carries, 35 yards.
Might want to have your first team offense sit down after that drive. Can't get a whole lot better.
Houston in to attempt the extra point. It hit the upright and falls away to the left, but a flag is on the play, and maybe there will be another chance. Didn't see what went wrong there as far as any snap or hold. Offside Cincinnati, and the Bucs are living right early. That's the 5th penalty, I think, against the Bengals tonight. Rhett's teammates come over to congratulate him. Former Florida Gator.
Atoning for the little fall on the back of Alvin Harper a week ago. So happy to hear that Alvin's going to be okay, and you know Alvin Harper is going to be an awful lot for this franchise.
Number 24.
Perhaps more than anything else, sending a signal to the rest of the league that the Bucs are serious about winning.
4 penalties now on Cincinnati for 14 yards already. We've played almost 7 minutes of the first quarter, and the Bengals have yet to touch the football. Bill Cox again to hold. This time, Houston is true. So with 8:02 left to go in the first quarter, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take the opening kickoff and sail down the field and lead it 7-0.
Channel 44 presents Safety Tips. How to avoid pain when playing against Hardy Nickerson.
When he comes towards you looking like this, run away in fear. If he gets too close to you, just fall down. And finally, end every sentence with, yes, sir, Mr. Nickerson. To watch these safety tips in action, take notes on the following.
Sunday, August 20th at 4. It's the Bucs versus the Steelers. Only on Channel 44.
Oh, and one last thing. Make sure the team doctor is standing by.
The Bucs start here.
Used to be you could get burgers like these for next to nothing. Why, it seems like only yesterday. Probably because it was. Right now, McDonald's hamburgers are just 39 cents each, and cheeseburgers are only 49 cents each.
Toyota Camry, the best car built in America. Award-winning precision craftsmanship made it the gold standard. It's Toyota's nationwide sales event, the best time to get the best. Camry, and the hottest time to get $800 cash back. Buy or lease Camry and get money back. And for a limited time, you can lease Camry for a low $229 a month. Whew! It's Toyota's hottest sales event of the year.
Toyota! Now at Pep Boys, get any 4 of our 35,000-mile all-season steel-belted tires at an incredible low $109 at Pep Boys now.
Patrick Emery, tonight on 44 News at 10.
Welcome back to Cincinnati. The Bengals lining up to receive Houston's kick, but an impressive first drive, an impressive run here by Eric Rhett.
As he did throughout this drive, he just simply took over. The blocking decent at the point of attack, but now it just comes down one-on-one, going up against the former Buccaneer Rod Jones, who had perhaps the worst of all nicknames for a defensive back in Tampa Bay. They called him Toast because he was so often burned, but really he's been playing much better here in Cincinnati.
So that scoring drive, 13 plays, 79 yards, took just under 7 minutes. Rhett the touchdown, Houston's kickoff. It comes to David Dunn about 4 yards deep in the end zone, and his teammates say, David, take a knee. We'll take it all over at the 20-yard line. Sam Shade, the rookie, said, And the Bengals take over at the 20. And now we're going to get a look at a youngster from East Carolina, Jeff Blake. He and the Bengals will take over when we return right after this commercial break on Bucs Preseason Football.
Pizza announces
Mega Month.
4 amazing weeks when any pizza, any size, with any number of toppings is just $7.99.
Mega Month.
Just call or stop by any Domino's Pizza now for this mega money-saving deal. Remember, any pizza, any size, any number of toppings, just $7.99.
Mega Month.
It's only at Domino's Pizza, and it's only a phone call away.
Mega Month.
It's a mega deal.
Some things in life you have to wait for. A car of your dreams shouldn't be one of them. The Chevy Camaro. 2 airbags, fuel-injected V6, anti-lock brakes. It's $14,995 worth of genuine Chevrolet.
Some of your best ideas happen up here with us.
That's Rusty Tillman, Buccaneers' new defensive coordinator. Now he'll see what his group can do, as they'll have to defend Jeff Blake and the Bengals. Cincinnati 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Defense played so well last week against the Jets, but again, let's remind everybody, Chris, Warren Sapp not playing tonight.
Just the flu, though. He should be fine.
Instead of Warren Sapp, Santana Dotson has moved in to that starting position at right tackle. And a whistle before the first snap of the football. The Buccaneers are clapping their hands. It was not a delay of game, I don't believe.
False start. Offense, number 86, simulating the start of a play. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You can't trust those wide receivers. Darnay Scott, the guilty party.
Usually the wide receiver gets a chance just to reset. I guess Darnay just collapsed on himself.
Well, Scott's anxious. He had a 56-yarder last week against the Indy Colts. Penalty number 5 on the Bengals early on. Blake back to pass, under a rush, and steps up. Now he'll tuck it away, and he'll gain about a yard when all is said and done. Putting him down for the Buccaneers, Lonnie March made the tackle.
And for Jeff Blake, he was the sensation a year ago here in Cincinnati. Take a look at Demetrius DeBose in the Tampa Bay huddle. Demetrius needs to play a little better than what he did last week. Was a bit confused at times taking over for Hardy Nickerson.
Nickerson expected to see some action next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, well, if you're going to be offside, Eric Curry, why not make it a goodie? And that's what he did.
Looked like Carl Lewis starting the 100 meters.
Curry, 6'5", 270 out of Alabama. And when you get that beef going, you can't stop it.
False start. Offense, number 74.
Oh!
Simulating the start of the play. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Anthony Brown, reserve right tackle, a rookie out of Utah. Guilty party.
And for Eric Curry, this is a chance for him to have a big-time ball game tonight, working against left tackle Bruce Kozerski. He's not a tackle.
Kozerski, Brown, Brills, Pollard, and Walter. Frankly, not the strongest unit for the Bengals. Up front, Blake Green, James Joseph, Carl Pickens, Darnay Scott, and Tony McGee. Round out the offensive unit. Second down at 15. And Blake is brought down for a loss inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. First to get him, Santana Dotson. Also in there for the Buccaneers, Eric Curry.
Santana Dotson working against Anthony Brown, but really it was just a meeting at the quarterback. Eric Curry there as well. And if you had to look at one area of the football team a week ago, this defensive line that was such a disappointment last year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just played a fantastic ball game.
Third down at 21 for Jeff Blake. Stepping up in the pocket, he'll have to run again. And that's not a good thing for a quarterback to do if he wants to hang around a while. Lonnie March met him and put him down at the 15. And they're booing already here at the Jungle.
Very, very impressive defensive series for Rusty Tillman's squad. I thought they did a great job last week shutting down the Jets. You have some concerns. The Jets really not that great of an offensive team, but this is a Bengal offense that was very sharp last week against the Colts.
So Lee Johnson, he'll get this thing off from about the 5 or 6 yard line. Clarence Verdun standing in single safety. And he retreats to the Buccaneer 27. He's dangerous. He gets an opening, and a flag on the play as Verdun was about to meet the 45-yard line. You got to hold your breath when number 2 gets that fill and starts running.
And that's one thing Clarence never does. He never holds his breath. The nickname CNN, one of my favorite in all the leagues, because he talks 24 hours a day.
Oh, I like that. I like that. What I don't like, if you're a Buccaneers fan, is a penalty on the punt run back. Happened just before Verdun was brought down, so this will spoil the field position.
Clarence over there doing
illegal
a little
block
talking right now.
On a return, number 28, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Verdun, of course, played with the Indy Colts before coming to Tampa Bay. See if we can get a look at it. Right there, I believe.
You know, that's what's so difficult about playing special teams is you get someone running right at your face, and all of a sudden they dip their shoulder, and it turns into a 10-yard penalty.
5:45 to go in the first. Buccaneers in command early, 7-0.
When I'm in my Jimmy, nothing gets in my way. Of course, I've got Jimmy's available 4-wheel drive anti-lock brakes and premium smooth suspension. Yeah, when I'm in my Jimmy, I'm in complete control. Daddy! It's when I get out that I begin to panic.
GMC Jimmy, thousands less than comparably equipped Jeep Grand Cherokee or Ford Explorer. See your Suncoast GMC truck dealer today.
Though we gotta say goodbye for the summer.
For $14.99, KFC gives you your choice of chicken, plus large mashed potatoes, gravy, any other large side, biscuits, honey barbecue wings, and our new big and chocolatey Oreo brownies. You'd be crazy to cook, unless this is where you want to spend your summer.
Yes, we gotta say goodbye for the summer.
So come into our kitchen and get the new You'd Be Crazy to Cook Mega Meal.
I read the Tampa Tribune. It's got everything you need in it. It's very informative.
My favorite newspaper is definitely the Trib.
It's always on top of everything. Keeps me up on current events. Oh, man, I love it all.
The Tampa Tribune. There's something extra in it for you every day.
I read the Tampa Tribune. It's got everything you need in it.
Informative.
I go immediately to the business section. I love the sports section. I like the Metro section. It's always there, and it's always on top of everything.
The Tampa Tribune. There's something extra in it for you every day.
Welcome back to Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason football, week 2, tonight from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Hope you're enjoying the game. I'm Tom Mees along with Chris Collinsworth. And the Buccaneers have been in command early. Took the opening kickoff, took about 7 minutes, and marched down the field. Let's see what they can do for Trent Dilfer and company now. Indifferent success on this handoff as the running back is brought down by James Francis. And the running back in that case was Eric Rett.
One of those counter OT plays where you bring the backside line around, but someone forgot James Francis.
Jerry Ellison, number 37, now in there at tailback. Ellison had some good showings against the New York Jets about a week ago. And off to Ellison. Over the 30 to the 32-yard line, a couple yards short of the first down. Making the tackle, Roger Jones.
This time going off the right side, and well, the thing you like to see if you're a Buccaneers fan is the way that this offensive line is coming off the football. Ian Beckles back in the lineup after being out a week ago with a bad ankle. And Beckles coming around, just getting perfect position on the inside, turning his man back in, and big hole for Ellison.
Ellison again through a hole, scoots by off the block from Harris at tight end and picks up another first down. James Francis had to get him that time. So Ellison doing some work here early.
Yeah, and it's interesting that this is a team that, in the Cincinnati Bengals, that really shut down Marshall Faulk a week ago. Now, Marshall Faulk didn't play very much for the Indianapolis Colts, but so far, big holes by this Tampa Bay offensive line.
And the first down's heavily in favor of Tampa Bay as Ellison gets it again. Ellison lucky to pick up a yard on this sweep. Andre Collins brought him down. You saw the first down 7-0 in favor of Tampa Bay.
The lost art in the National Football League, the sweep. It just doesn't seem to work the way that it used to back in the days of the Green Bay Packers and the pulling of those two guards. The defenders now in the National Football League just so fast.
You think it is that, Chris, that the athletes are just better prepared on defense for that play?
Yeah, you used to just get the great athletes on the offensive side. Now you get linebackers running 4.5 and 4.6. I mean, it's really phenomenal.
Second down, and they'll call it 8. In motion for Tampa Bay is Anthony McDowell. Dilfer on the play fake. Going down the sideline and overthrowing by a bunch. Ty J. Armstrong, who was open, but Dilfer overthrew him.
A difficult pass for Trent Dilfer. One, he had to try and drop it in over the head of James Francis. I thought Ty J could have given Trent a little bit of help on that play. There was no corner deep on this outside, just a safety that he'd already beaten across the field, and yet he continued probably too flat on the route.
Al Dilfer making sure everybody's lined up. Still 10 seconds on the play clock, and he'll go from the spread or the shotgun. They're down at 8. Lots of time going long over the middle. Has a man open, but well covered. But open by a step was Charles Wilson. And that ball just a bit too far. Corey Sawyer, youngster out of Florida State, on the cover.
All right, he overthrew the pass on 2 straight plays. No question about that. But the thing that Trent Dilfer did on that play that he did not do a week ago, there was a guy coming cold at him. He saw him right in his face, stood in there, made the throw, took the hit, stood up like a man, said, "My fault." That's what you want out of your quarterback.
Here's Reggie Roby, and this is not one of his best efforts. Got almost no height on it at all, but it'll look like a boomer in the box score because it goes out of bounds at the 12-yard line. So everything going Tampa Bay's way so far tonight. 3 minutes even left to go in the first. 7-0 Bucs.
The heat is on.
The heat is on now at your local Mercury dealer during the Mercury Clearance Countdown. With hot deals on some of the year's best cars, like the hot new Mercury Mystique. A Car and Driver 10 Best starting at just $15,850. That's over $1,500 less than Altima and Accord. Plus, Mystique has features you can't get on the competition and a hot lease rate. So come in now while the deals are hot during the Mercury Clearance Countdown at your local Mercury dealer.
The heat is on. More choice, less money. Paragon Cable is here for you.
More choice, less money means free installation when you get standard cable and order our HBO discount value package. Get all your favorite movies on HBO, plus get a universal remote, a smart box, several pay-per-view channels, and more. It's all just $29.95 a month, and installation is free. Just call 1-800-800-CABLE today.
More choice, less money. Paragon Cable.
The lease rate looks good, but I want it with no down payment.
Now, get 0 down payment leases at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. That's right, the leases you want with the best number you can get. 0 down payment. Example, lease the hot-selling Plymouth Neon for this low monthly rate with 0 down payment. Get it now at Chrysler Plymouth, the 0 down payment leases. We hear you. Only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, the leasing store.
Welcome to the hot and steamy jungle here in Cincinnati. Heat warnings today, well over 90 degrees. It was 90 at kickoff. Gee, Chris, feels just like Central Florida this time of year.
Home sweet home. I feel like I'm back in Gainesville.
Well, once again, Jeff Blake will take his charges out for an offensive series, but once again, he's starting with less than perfect field position at the 18. Bengals touching the ball for only the second time tonight with 3 minutes to go in the quarter, sort of the way the Tampa Bay began last week's game against the Jets. And a give at running back, number 36, James Joseph, the former Philadelphia Eagle. Kerry Mock met him for maybe a yard gain.
It's fun for me to watch Derrick Brooks in there at linebacker. Of course, the great linebacker for Florida State, so much a part of those championship teams there. But when Derrick Brooks smells out the play, he explodes on the ball carrier. Just has a great instinct for finding the ball carrier.
Joseph leads the game for Cincinnati. Harold Green, the one set back behind Blake. They give him up to the 21-yard line. Harold Green takes the pitch out, is met in the backfield, and is brought down at about the 15-yard line. Barney Bussey, the first one to it.
My man, Barney Bussey. I played with Barney in Cincinnati. He's now in his 12th year, I believe, in the National Football League. And I was joking around with him before the ball game. I said, Barney, the older you get, you're supposed to get less playing time, not more. All of a sudden, now he's a starter. He was really a reserve with Cincinnati throughout the beginning part of his career, but a guy that just has a way of finding the football, just continues to make plays. Very difficult to get him out of there.
Third down and 8 for Cincinnati at the 15. No one back to protect. Blake has to get rid of it quickly. Does up to the 24-yard line. Completes it to Carl Pickens, the veteran out of Tennessee. Charles Dimry, the tackle, but that's enough for a first down.
See a little bit of what made Jeff Blake so special for the Bengals last year. They started like 0-10, something like that, and he came in. They won 3 of their last 6 games, but tremendously quick feet and a great release. Not the biggest guy, just about 6 feet tall, but really has some kind of mobility around that pocket.
Let me correct myself. This drive started on the 13-yard line, not the 18. That's the first down over the 25 to the 26. Green, gives it back to Blake on a flea flicker that, well, had too many fleas in it and didn't work, and Eric Curry made sure it did.
Good heads-up play there by Eric Curry. Eric Curry, I thought when he was in his very first year in the preseason games, I just thought this guy was going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. And last season, for whatever reason, things just didn't work out for him. He didn't have a great year. But they say so far in camp this season, Eric Curry has been back to the big old bear that he was in that first season during the exhibition season.
2 sacks so far for the Buccaneer defense with under 1 minute to play here in the first quarter. The give is to Green for a yard, maybe 2, and that's it. It'll bring up a 3rd and long, and the Bluebirds are out again. Kerry Mock made the first hit.
You know, it's interesting. In Cincinnati, they have the stadium issue, just as they do in Tampa Bay now, and it is becoming an emotional issue here. I don't know exactly how it's playing out in Tampa, but just people want to see wins, and then they're willing to spend a few tax dollars for a stadium.
Doesn't matter what the city or what the sport, Mr. Collinsworth. Winning changes everything, and that will do it for the first quarter play here in Cincinnati. The score: Tampa Bay 7, Cincinnati Bengals nothing.
Dodge changed the rules of truck power, the rules of safety, comfort, convenience. And while we were changing those rules, another one changed all by itself. New rule: Dodge pickups now have higher resale than Ford, Chevy, or GMC. Want proof? Check the rule book. The rules have changed. At America's Truck Stop, the new Dodge.
Now that you've given her away, you'll always cherish the memories. You'll always remember the joy. And you'll never forget the bill.
$220 for parts?
But hey, isn't that why you got Visa Gold in the first place? With all the purchase power to handle any occasion. Even the most precious. Visa Gold, it's everywhere you want to be.
I've always wanted to do this. With NFL Sunday Ticket on DirecTV, you get up to 13 regular season games live every Sunday. So if Washington is blowing out the Bucs, just switch to the 49ers Saints game. But hey, is Emmitt Smith breaking the rushing record? Are the Giants crushing the Eagles? You get it. Not on cable, but with DirecTV and this. Now that's a game plan. To get NFL Sunday Ticket on the 18-inch DSS dish of your choice, call 1-800-DirecTV.
Now it's time for the Toyota first quarter summary as the Bengals are busy entertaining the crowd here at Riverfront Stadium. It's been all Buccaneers, frankly. They took the opening kickoff and marched down the field 79 yards on their first series. Eric Rett capping it off, and Rhett has had a stellar night. Rhett and Dilfer, I think, Chris, the two differences for Tampa Bay in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, you expect good play out of Eric Rhett. I don't think that's any sort of a surprise, but I've been impressed with Trent Dilfer in the first half, and also this defensive pass rush from Tampa Bay. Jeff Blake's only gotten one pass off so far in the game.
And the third downs, of course, the Jets had a terrible third down percentage against this Tampa Bay defense last week. And this one is just flat out dropped. Blake put it right in the hands of Darnay Scott. And this will bring up another punt.
And again, the Buccaneers defense, led by Rusty Tillman, they allowed the underneath pass. I'm not sure that one would have picked up the first down anyway. Just dropping back into a zone defense. Derrick Brooks taking his zone, and that's one Darnay generally doesn't drop. He's a pretty good player. Both these Bengal receivers, really very good receivers.
Lee Johnson's punt to single safety Clarence Redan, and this is a boomer all the way back to the 20-yard line. They've got him hemmed in. A little Clarence gets away from the initial group. Oh, if you're going to survive as a little guy, you got to have moves like that. Wow. He's down at the 32-yard line, and time for us to take a timeout as the Buccaneers get set to take over the offense again. Early in the second quarter, 7-0 Tampa Bay.
This is Mount Everest, world's biggest mountain. This is Ford Escort, America's biggest selling small car. Now with the year's biggest deal. 3.9 financing or $600 cash back on every Escort in stock. That includes the sporty GT if you're big on style, and the wagon if you've got a big one of these. So if you were thinking of climbing this today, put your plans on this. Hurry to your local Southern Ford dealer for 3.9 financing or $600 cash back. Turns out you don't have to move these to get this great deal.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's that time of year again.
They're going back. It's back to school time at Staples. Over 5,000 supplies at the guaranteed low price. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
This summer's hottest event just got hotter. Mitsubishi's Summer of Thunder heats up with an electrifying offer on an Eclipse GS. Lease for just $249 a month for 48 months with $1,000 down. But hurry in, because this offer ends soon. And so does the Summer of Thunder from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Chris Collinsworth, if you want to know who's winning this game, stats don't lie, at least so far.
Not in this one. Really a dominant performance so far by both sides of the ball.
And the Buccaneers begin 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line after Verdan's nice return of a punt that traveled 61 yards in the air from Lee Johnson. Dilfer will play the first and part of the second half, we understand, tonight. Ellison, room to roam to the 35-yard line. And Ellison is brought down there by the Bengals number 56, Ricardo McDonald.
And I think Sam Wyche has figured out where the weak spot is on this Cincinnati defense. It is over that defensive right side, right over Paul Gruber and Charles McRae and the Bucs left side. That's where the Bengals have really been struggling to try and find someone to replace Alfred Williams.
Mike Flores is starting at that right defensive end for Cincinnati tonight. Ty Parton, who usually mans that position, is out with a thumb injury, and so they're going right at Flores, that side, as the run by Ellison over the 35 to the 36. Big Danny Wilkinson brought him down.
You know, it's amazing that for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this will be the 4th straight year that they've had a different starting quarterback on opening day. Testaverde, DeBerg, Erickson, and now Dilfer.
Oh, look at this. A hurry-up call by Wyche's offense. Dilfer completes it to Copeland. That should be enough for the first down. The Bengals look like they were surprised, but there is a flag on the field.
Well, that's what Sam Wyche's hurry-up offense will do. You try to make that late substitution. He snaps the football.
Dick Hantak and his crew discussing this one.
Defensively, you're allowed time to make the substitution if the offense substitute. If they do not, they are allowed to quick snap.
Sam Wyche, who won more games here in this city with his franchise than anybody who's coached the Bengals.
Delay. Defense. You had plenty of time.
I love it.
5 yards.
I love it when a referee really gives you every inch of the explanation.
We have 3 men in the booth here tonight.
Remember that call years ago at, I think it was Giants Stadium, Packers and Giants, and one of the referees said he was down there giving them the business, and they describe exactly what was happening.
I like it. I wish the referees would do more of it. Let you know what's happening down there.
So the Bucs will take it after yet another penalty on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are undisciplined if nothing else tonight. 1st and 10 out the 41.
Come on.
Dilfer to the sidelines. Wilson has it right about midfield. Charles Wilson, the 5th-year man out of Memphis.
And so far, Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson, the #1 draft pick of the Cincinnati Bengals last year, has been a non-factor. Ian Beckles is just absolutely tying him up front. Big Daddy looks a little winded, and Ian's going strong.
And the cover man at time was Corey Sawyer, who's been under some pressure here in Cincinnati after what was reported to be a lackluster effort last week against the Indianapolis Colts. Here's Edmonds on the handoff for the Bucs. Edmonds, Bobby Joe inside the 45 to the 44, spinning and turning.
And what a great story Bobby Joe Edmonds is. Out of football for 5 years, a Pro Bowler long ago with Seattle, and has had his problems with alcohol, in and out of rehabilitation units. And boy, look at the determination. You're talking about a guy who appreciates the chance that he has been given by this organization, and he has played awfully well in camp so far.
Officially a gain of 6 for Bobby Joe. 2nd down and 4. Again, the Bucs in Bengal territory. Edmonds fakes and keeps himself, and Bobby Joe Edmonds carries for the 1st down. A fake reverse worked that time. Steve Shine helped make the tackle.
That's a play we used to run a lot with Sam Wyche in Cincinnati. You fake the reverse, and it just seems to freeze the pursuit. You see everyone going back the other way for the reverse, and it's the same effect, net effect, of actually going in there and blocking those guys.
Oh, what a week's worth of practice can do to an offensive unit. This looks like a different football team from what we saw a week ago.
Well, they told us that Trent Dilfer looked like a different quarterback during the week of practice.
1st and 10 at the Bengal 37-yard line. Edmonds again going to ride this horse till somebody takes him down, and somebody does. Ricardo McDonald brings him down for a loss.
Ricardo McDonald, a guy for the Cincinnati Bengals that has had to overcome surgery. He's had a lot of different injuries. Really a gutsy character out there, and I'm happy to see him back and able to play again, because there was some doubt as to whether or not Ricardo McDonald would ever make it back, but that's a fine play on the outside.
First play tonight for the Bucs that has resulted in a loss. 2nd down and 12. 1st down still heavily weighted in favor of the Buccaneers. Edmonds up the middle, and this time he is met just inside the 40, and again the man to meet him, Ricardo McDonald.
Now, as a young quarterback, it's time to turn on those brain cells. You have 3rd down and about 10 or so for the 1st down, but you also know that if you pick up 6 or 7 yards, you give your field goal kicker a good opportunity to extend this lead.
7-0 Buccaneers, 10:24 and counting in the 1st half. Bengals, time for them to make a defensive stand here. Still 7 seconds on the play clock. Dilfer got the time, going for Horace Copeland toward the goal line, and it'll go incomplete. Rod Jones on the coverage. Don't know if Jones wasn't there whether Horace would have come up with that.
I thought that was a good no call by the official. Jones was in position to make the play. Both players going after the football. The collision really incidental. As long as you're turned back and looking at the quarterback, you're allowed to make a play at the ball, both offensively and defensively. But I guarantee you, Sam Wyche is saying now, think those underneath guys when we are that close to field goal range.
Reggie Roby, Corey Sawyer back in single safety, but this thing will go well into the end zone. And the Buccaneers down at their touchback will be called. 1st and 10 for the Bengals on their own 20. When we return to Riverfront, won't help the average, Roby, but what are you going to do? 1st and 10 when the Bengals come back with it on the 20 when we come back to Cincinnati in a moment.
My name is Kramer.
You're not normal. What do you say about a guy like this, huh?
His buttocks are sublime.
Said I was a hipster doofus. Can't you see I'm burned out? My boys need a house. Yo, ma.
I'm Kramer.
5 times a week.
Oh, baby.
Coming this fall.
Now everybody's talking closeout, but we're talking Buick. Get $1,500 cash direct to you on Regal. Get $1,000 cash on LeSabre. Park Avenue, $1,500 cash to you. Whether you buy or lease, cash in now. Up to $1,500 cash whether you buy or lease at your Florida Buick dealer. What are you waiting for?
Wouldn't you really rather have? Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick?
Mr. Sam Preseason, you know why you're here, don't you?
Kind of don't.
We'll fix that. Let's see. Go up to the umpire. You say, you were wrong.
You were wrong.
Swat a few balls, throw a few rackets. The ball was in.
The ball was in.
I'm incompetent. Yell at me. Say tomato. Or 2. And eat your pizza the wrong way. Crust first.
Why didn't you say so?
Stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut with a zesty new sauce and cheese baked into a new thinner crust. You'll want to eat it crust first.
2 at once. I've created a monster.
Large, just $9.99.
Welcome back to Cincinnati, everyone. With Chris Collinsworth, I'm Tom Mees. Tampa Bay Buccaneers set to go on defense now. And here's the man they wanted to see play tonight, but they'll have to wait a week, Johnny Carter.
He had a little workout just before the ball game tonight and talked with Dave Shula. He said that he is chomping at the bit. He's been working in practice, but not in pads, and they expect him to play his first game next weekend.
Carter, of course, a bit of an Achilles problem after signing a bit late with Cincinnati. And the total offense, they could use him tonight, although this is a nice effort on the ground by Eric Bieniemy, the former Colorado Buffalo and San Diego Charger.
I always liked Eric Bieniemy when he was with the Chargers. Just got no chance whatsoever out there because of the play of Natron Means. And that time Cincinnati giving Tampa a little dose of their own medicine with that H-back trap, and Bieniemy took advantage of the hole.
Stargell made the tackle on him. Bieniemy a pickup of 8. He stays in as the lone setback. Bieniemy again up the middle. Met first there by Brad Culpepper. It'll be close to a first down.
That was a nice job of playing the nose there by Brad Culpepper. Had a sack in the ball game last week, and Brad's one of those guys. He's not going to look like the All-American on every snap of the ball. Doesn't run that great speed, but you see some of his teammates on the sideline. The first string is out, and it's time for the Brad Culpeppers of the world to get their chance to shine.
And Jeff Blake, quarterback sneak over the 30-yard line. Blake does it himself. That'll be the second first down for the Bengals tonight. And they love it in Cincinnati.
And the mocking cheer goes up. This has been a rough run of football in Cincinnati, really, since Sam Wyche left. Even after the Super Bowl year, they had 1 year in which they made it to the playoffs, but it has been slim pickings over the last few years.
Well, Jeff Blake is known for pulling a big play out of his hat. Let's see on 1st and 10 if he tries to stretch the field now. Best field position of the night. And the Bucs had this one smelled right. They smelled it out. Carl Pickens wishes they didn't, but they did, and John Lynch the first to hit him.
Keith Poe there. looked like John Lynch in the backfield. That's one of those that when you're a wide receiver, you come running around there and you're thinking, I really wish I didn't have to take this football, because you know it's just about to get ugly.
Loss of 7 on the play.
Demetrius DeBoe's in there as well.
Used to run a few of those in the stadium, didn't you?
Oh, boy. The reverse was never my favorite play. I always wanted the option of throwing it.
2nd down and 17, and they know Blake's got to throw. Blake goes over the middle, intended for Bieniemy, a little bit too low. Stargell in the area. To bring up a 3rd and 17.
This has been more than a little bit impressive so far by this Tampa Bay defense. And Rusty Tillman, of course, they expected some good results, but I'm not even sure he would have thought he could have held Jeff Blake to -4 yards passing this late in the 2nd quarter.
Now midway through the 2nd quarter. Bieniemy in motion this time. And the tosses to Bieniemy, but for negligible yardage, barely back to the line of scrimmage, if that. And another punt for Cincinnati coming up. Lynch on the hit for Tampa Bay.
And Tom, what I think is happening is that Jeff Blake is just not comfortable sitting in that pocket, and for good reason. He's been getting pressured all day, and so he's just taking that ball and getting rid of it. Give credit to the defensive line of the Buccaneers for hurrying the Bengals quarterback.
Well, Blake on the first series took the ball around with it a couple of times, but he doesn't want to make a living at that. He's just not big enough to survive that. Down after down. Lee Johnson, another punt, and Verdun settles under this one at the 25-yard line. And about 5 yards on the return, making the hit, Darrell Williams. So it'll be 1st and 10, Tampa Bay at the 30. 6:59 to go in the first half. It remains 7-0 Buccaneers. Back to Cincinnati in a moment.
The heat is on now at your local Mercury dealer during the Mercury Clearance Countdown with hot deals on some of the year's best cars, like Mercury Grand Marquis, Florida's best-selling full-size car. Grand Marquis is big on room, comfort, power, and value. And it's now available with some great summer clearance deals. So get one now while the deals are hot during the Mercury Clearance Countdown at your local Mercury dealer.
The heat is Chair Dime, Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman, Tim Robbins. Good chemistry. Friendship, road movie. Only here's the catch. They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's a weekly series. Typical LA family, elective surgery, identity crisis, housekeeper from hell.
Deep.
It's deep, but it's deep in a surface level. It's like a surface deep. It just goes right.
Okay, this is an original Kurt Vonnegut property. Years 2053, mind control, society of intellectually mediocre people.
Love it.
I knew you would.
Talk about edgy. Showtime. Talk about exciting.
I'm a producer.
Channel 44 presents Safety Tips. How to avoid pain when playing against Hardy Nickerson.
When he comes towards you looking like this, run away in fear. If he gets too close to you, just fall down. And finally, end every sentence with, yes, sir, Mr. Nickerson. To watch these safety tips in action, take notes on the following.
Sunday, August 20th at 4. It's the Bucs versus the Steelers. Only on Channel 44.
Oh, and one last thing. Make sure the team doctor is standing by.
The Bucs start here.
Live Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason action tonight in both Tampa and Orlando. Hope you're enjoying it so far this evening. Live from Cincinnati with Chris Collinsworth. I'm Tom Mees. And Chris Dilfer on the night, 4 out of 8, 42 yards.
Yeah, and really the story of this game so far, I think, has been the dominant play of this Buccaneer offensive line. They've really been pushing people around up front.
1st and 10 for the Buccaneers at the 30-yard line after the 5-yard punt return by Clarence Verdun. Dilfer with 3 wideouts. And the give is to the setback Ellison, and Ellison, that play was smelled out early. Ricardo McDonald, who's coming on the last couple of series, made the stop.
There's a flaw in that scheme. Somehow or another, this just isn't happening. It looks like Charles McCray maybe is supposed to come out and kick out on the end man on the line of scrimmage, Ricardo McDonald, and Charles never quite made it there.
Well, McDonald went in untouched. Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Dilfer plenty of time. Goes to the right side, and the catch is made there by number 80, Lawrence Dawsey. And that should be a first down.
Well, there's a big-time throw. Every once in a while you see something out of Trent Dilfer that really turns your head, and the ability to throw those deep outs like that is something that you want to see out of a National Football League quarterback. Nice job looking down the middle of the field, looking off some of the coverage, and then just shooting that football in there.
Gracie Walker, the coverage man, made the stop, but it's 1st and 10 for Tampa Bay at the 44. Rudy Harris goes in motion. Dilfer the play fake. And Dilfer is lucky that he didn't have it picked off. And then Corey Sawyer gets nailed by his teammate. Oh, my goodness. And he hasn't. Ricardo McDonald hit him a lick.
Oh, that's one the boys are going to remember down there for a while. And just at the end of this play, a poor throw here by Dilfer really never got himself turned around. And now, yeah, that's what it feels like to be a wide receiver in this league. I thought it was a white jersey, but Corey, what are you doing down there?
Chris Collinsworth can relate. He's felt a few hits like that. We'll be back to Cincinnati in a moment.
DeVille has the airbag system, helping protect all 3 front seat passengers. More people choose the Cadillac DeVille than any other luxury car in America. Count on Cadillac this summer. Current Cadillac owners can lease a new DeVille at its lowest lease rate of the year. Just $399 a month for 24 months and $1,975 down. Cadillac, creating a higher standard. The Cadillac dealers of Florida, the luxury leaders.
What a sandwich!
Taco Bell introduces the Texas Taco Sandwich. Oven-baked flatbread with chicken or beef and a tangy southwestern sauce. Starting at 99 cents. Tastes so big, it ought to be outlawed. Yummy.
This is news. This is the deal that's making news. $2,000 cash back or 5.9 financing for up to 48 months on Ford Taurus. $2,000 cash back means this could be your down payment. 5.9 financing means you'll have more to keep in this, even with all this. So if this is the deal you want on America's best-selling car, this is where you should go. See your local Southern Ford dealer before this deal on this Taurus becomes yesterday's this.
Well, football's a collision sport, and Chris, so the bad part is that sometimes people get hurt. That overthrow by Trent Dilfer, and 2 Bengals collided. Ricardo McDonald, the bigger of the 2, bumping heads with defensive back Corey Sawyer.
And Corey Sawyer is still down on the field, and he was running up, and I really don't think that he ever thought that Ricardo McDonald was going to come into him, and he was down on the field for a good couple of minutes. Hopefully everything's okay with him. He's now back over on the bench, and they're attending to him.
So Corey Sawyer takes a seat. Ricardo McDonald still out on the field as the Bengals defend here with the Bucs 2nd and 10 on their own 43. 7-0 Tampa Bay. A 1-yard run by Eric Rett on the first series of the game. Dilfer over the middle. Tight end Jackie Harris hauls it in. He's going to be quite a weapon for Dilfer this year.
And Jackie Harris is a guy whose run blocking has just really improved in this year's camp. Everyone knows about his ability to catch the football, but as he continues to progress with that run blocking, he could really be a dominant tight end in the league. Trent Dilfer with a nice night so far.
13-yard pass to Harris. 1st and 10 for the Bucs in Bengal territory now at the 45. Tyree Davis is split out wide to the top of the screen. His first action of the night. Again, good protection. Now it breaks down. Well, Dilfer had some time, but you can't hold him out forever. Keith Rucker wrapped him up for a huge loss back about the 45-yard line.
And Keith Rucker, one of those players for the Bengals, he's lost about 30 pounds in the past 3 weeks. And despite the fact that Charles McRae's been having a good night so far, really no match for Keith Rucker there. And Charles McRae, you have to label him a bit of a disappointment. So far, they're trying him now at guard. You hope that he can find a spot there.
You saw the program weight on Rucker at 332. He could drop 30 pounds tonight with this humidity. He really could. Here's Ellison. Had two offensive linemen in front of him, but Ricardo McDonald, I'll tell you, he is breaking up everything. And he was responsible for the tackle if he didn't make it himself.
Well, after the great start, now the Buccaneers have been trying to go wide against this Bengals defense, and that really hasn't been the answer. They have had much more success running between the tackles and coming off the football.
Well, they have no choice now. They got to air it out. 3rd down and 25 for Dilfer and company, back at the 39-yard line. Of course, different personnel in for both clubs. A large margin from the first couple of series in this game. Dilfer the screen pass to the tight end Harris. And Harris is wrapped up in a nice individual play at the 39-yard line. And guess who? Well, McDonald was in the area, but Adrian Hardy made the play.
Really just a first-class play there on a big guy, and Jackie Harris. You really don't expect a corner to be able to pull down Jackie Harris. Had blockers out in front. This thing looked like it was set up pretty well. And Hardy just sniffed this thing out, went right between the two blockers. Like a bit of confusion on the play as to who was going to try and block Hardy.
Reggie Roby back to punt. Let's see if this thing goes up into the O-zone. It's a high spiral, all right. Bounces at the 5 and in and out of the end zone. So a touchback as Roby shakes his head. He was hoping that the Bengals would take that inside the 10 and take a chance. Reggie Roby, you've seen him at his best in your career.
We played a game one time in the Orange Bowl in Miami. It was a Monday night football game against the Dolphins, of course, when he was kicking with the Dolphins. And he did something that I have never seen before in the National Football League. He kicked one that went above the lights. I'm telling you, this thing left the stadium. And I felt Clyde Simmons was our punt returner at the time. I said, just get out of the way there. Just there's no chance.
Leave. All right, 1st and 10 at the 20, and a 9-yard gain for the Bengals as Darnay Scott hauls in the aerial from Blake. Tony Stargell on the tackle. So Roby, of course, when he was a kid, the much ballyhooed story about how he would practice his punting, kicking the football over the roof of his house. Guess it worked.
One of the more dramatic leg extensions in NFL history. He can really get that leg in the air.
And a short yardage situation. The Bengals may have the first down, but a nice play there by Brad Culpepper on the ball carrier for Cincinnati, Jeff Coffrin.
You know, Brad Culpepper really reminds me of a guy that I played with in Cincinnati, Tim Crumry, who's now coaching with the Cincinnati Bengals. He just never would give in, always trying, always playing hard. Did it at the University of Florida, and he's carried it over to his pro career.
Well, that is a first down. Now, with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left to go in the half, the Buccaneers on defense have called a timeout. And so Tampa Bay will huddle up. Cincinnati gets a fresh series of downs.
And you know Jeff Blake would like to get something going here in what could be his final drive of the ball game, because David Klingler, who played so well a week ago, is going to get his shot in the second half. But for Sam Wyche, what a performance so far, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've given Jeff Blake and company fits.
Well, there's still some tickets available for the Bucs' next preseason game at Tampa Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers a week from tomorrow night. Call the Bucs ticket office or Ticketmaster for the Bucs versus the Steelers, as well as for regular season games as well. That's a week from tomorrow night, next Saturday. The Pittsburgh Steelers come to town. All right, 1st and 10 for the Bengals on their own 30. And a whistle. It will not be a delay of game. There was still 9 seconds left on the play clock.
Offense number 82, simulating the start of a play. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Dave Shula is going to go over that penalty this week. Tony McGee, the veteran.
Really a sloppy first half by the Cincinnati Bengals. They come before the home folks for the first time, and like in Tampa, they're trying to convince people that this is going to be a different year, and already 7 penalties here in the first half.
By the way, Corey Sawyer, we get word the defensive back of the Bengals, shaken up in that hit with McDonald. Mild concussion, but this is the part. Probably will return.
Yeah.
In a preseason game.
Next week, probably.
And almost picked off over the middle. Bad pass. Kerry Mock almost picked it off. Blake underthrew the intended receiver. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning here in Cincinnati. The score is only 7-0, but Tampa Bay has dominated this game from both sides of the ball.
The news is out. Lincoln is the best-selling luxury line in America. And during the Lincoln Luxury Sales Drive, your Lincoln dealer is celebrating with generous financial incentives on all Lincolns. Discover the uncompromising comfort of Lincoln Town Car and drive away with $2,000 customer cash. Move fast and get $1,000 cash back on Mark 8. Plus ask about special incentives on Lincoln Continental. The Lincoln Luxury Sales Drive, the most opportune time all year to drive off in. America's #1.
At Boston Chicken, we started with honest-to-goodness meals. Chicken that's slow-roasted, juicy, and delicious, as well as freshly prepared side dishes, like our mashed potatoes made from scratch. But now, we're so much more. Introducing the new Boston Market, a place where you can go for great home-style meals, like rotisserie roasted turkey breast, double-glazed ham, and double-sauced meatloaf. Now we're more than just great chicken. We're the new Boston Market.
Things aren't always what they seem. Sometimes
You get more than you expect.
Introducing the incredible I-30. One look inside, and you'll be amazed at the spaciousness and attention to detail. In fact, the I-30 has a larger interior than a Rolls-Royce Silver Spur. When was the last time you got more than you expected from a $30,000 luxury car?
Two minutes even left to go in the first half of our second week of the NFL preseason. Tampa Bay Buccaneers style with Chris Collinsworth. I'm Tom Mees. And the closest stat on the board tonight is the score. Everything else has been heavily weighted in favor of Tampa Bay. You can see by the passing numbers, Dilfer and Blake. Blake on the play fake's got to run with it. Dotson is on his tail. He has to let it go. It's like a duck. And a no call there at the 33-yard line. The fans are booing. I think that was a good no call. Jerry Wilson on the coverage.
I'll put that one in the close category.
All right.
I give Jerry the benefit of the doubt. You are allowed to go for the football. See if he goes through the back on the way up, though.
You know, I stand corrected.
That's
You're right.
pretty good. That's a pretty tough call.
Yeah, he got him with the left arm around the neck, too. On further review, Jerry.
No flag, no harm. Coaches are happy.
No blood, no foul. 3rd and 15. Blake now 3 of 7 for 24 yards on the night. Not stellar numbers. And now he'll take off with it. And instead of sliding, he goes head first for the first down. I believe he's got it. Over the 40-yard line. John Lynch and Tony Stargell bring him down. He thought about sliding and said, no, I might as well go for the first down.
Yeah, he really is a tough kid. You see him at long 3rd down at about 15 or 16. He knows exactly where those sticks are, so I'm going to slide. No, better go ahead. Puts his head down, and boy, after you've been 3rd-team quarterback everywhere you've gone, you finally get a chance to be a starter. No time to start hook sliding on 3rd down and long. Go ahead and take your shot. What the heck?
What's interesting here in Cincinnati is Bruce Kozlov is now the offensive coordinator. Kozlov was the coach of the Jets when Blake was with the Jets, and Blake couldn't get a chance to.
Yeah, it was one of those situations, though, where Bruce never forgot what he saw out of Jeff Blake, and then when he became available, brought him over really just purely on sort of a developmental basis, and Sam enjoying a laugh about something there with Casey Weldon and company. But Jeff Blake has certainly earned his way into the hearts of the fans here in Cincinnati.
Ball 1st and 10 now for the Bengals at the 40. Cincinnati's 2-minute offense with 1:38 left in the half. 7-0 Tampa Bay. Plenty of time for Blake. Eric Bieniemy. And he is either at the first down stick or just short of it. Stargell brought him down.
And now that defensive line for Tampa Bay getting a little winded. Looked like Eric Curry sort of ran out of gas at the end of that play.
And a no-huddle call for Blake. Hurry-up call. The 2-minute offense. Blake going deep. Darnay Scott, touchdown. And it's 7-6, 59 yards.
Absolutely, in my opinion, the best deep ball thrower in the National Football League. Gets plenty of height, and Darnay Scott just ran underneath this ball. Jerry Wilson got a break a minute ago, but you cannot stay up with Darnay Scott. He can fly.
That's amended. That was a 51-yard pass completion, 51. And a point after touchdown is up and good by Doug Pelfrey. And so just before halftime, the score is tied at 7. And Darnay Scott, Chris, who had a 56-yard reception last week in Indianapolis, has done it again with Blake.
Yeah, it almost seems that in every game now, whether it be Carl Pickens or Darnay Scott, the Bengals are hitting a big play down the field. And what happened that time, it looked like the defensive pass rush for Tampa Bay really began to run out of gas. And all game long, Jeff Blake had not had the time to make one of those throws. This time, plenty of time to sit up in the pocket and complete it down the field. Good job over there on that Bengals left side. They picked up the stunt. And that's what put all the pressure in the world back there on Jerry Wilson.
And you know that Jeff Blake has to be going, because Klingler will start the second half, and Blake's numbers had not been stellar, but he can make up for a lot with that talk. Darnay Scott, a big play receiver, and you're right about Blake. He came on like gangbusters last season with the big plays, and that's the best looking drive by far for Cincinnati tonight.
Yeah, and the key play was that 3rd down and 16 in which he ran and picked up the first down.
Pelfrey on the kickoff this time. Bounces at the 15. Picked up by Verdun. He's got a seam up the sideline, but it closes fast, and he's out about the 22. Kevin Jefferson ran him out. So now the Bucs and Dilfer with 1:06 left.
And this is a good situation for Trent Dilfer and for Sam Wyche. Sam Wyche always prides himself on being able to put a good 2-minute offense on the field. And of course, Trent Dilfer didn't get many of those opportunities a season ago with Craig Erickson as the quarterback. So I'm sure Sam happy to see this 1:06 on the board and see what his young quarterback can do.
Remember, Dilfer only got 2 starts last season, so he is really, in terms of experience, an NFL rookie. He'll get a lot of work, maybe more work than any other quarterback in the league in preseason. And Cincinnati, once they get lined up, calls a timeout with 1:06 to go in the half.
So much different this week. Trent Dilfer, I thought just played a terrible game a week ago and throwing the 3 interceptions. But it was really more than that in my mind. It was more a case of he just never looked settled, never looked comfortable. But right from the start here today, he looked like a different quarterback.
Well, that is Old Glory up there. You wouldn't be able to tell it, except it is a flag. We know that, and we're told it's the Star-Spangled Banner. There is no wind here. I'm telling you.
Trust me.
It's Dave Shula looks on here in Cincinnati. You think in Florida that it doesn't get hot in the Northeast and the Midwest? You are wrong. Hot and humid.
Just one of those days where nothing is moving. There is no wind whatsoever.
All right, the timeout over. Bucs tied up now at 7, 1st and 10 from their own 28. 1:06 left in the half. See what Dilfer can do. Oh, he puts it right in between the coverage and completes it. I believe that's the Horace Copeland, number 88. First down.
And a nice job by Bobby Joe Edmonds picking up the corner blitz, allowing Dilfer the time to throw that one.
53 seconds. Clock stops until the ball is set. And here we go. Pickup of 12 on that toss to Copeland. Sideline. Has his man, and that's Dorsey. He steps out of bounds, 11 yards to the 49.
And the thing that Trent's doing here this evening that he didn't do a week ago is step into his throw. The offensive line is giving him that little cushion between the defensive pass rush and where he wants to step up. He's stepping up and delivering the ball with some authority tonight.
And a couple more first downs, and the Bucs will be well within field goal range. But there's under 40 seconds to play, and Edmonds, Bobby Joe Edmonds, comes back against the grain, and he's down to the 30-yard line. And a timeout, Tampa Bay. Bobby Joe Edmonds with a run of 19 yards.
Tremendous lead block on the play by number 33, Anthony McDowell. Just took his man and really pinned him outside, allowing Bobby Joe Edmonds to cut it up inside. And regardless of whether or not Edmonds makes this football team or not, you have to be happy for him individually. To go through the alcohol rehabilitation, out of the league for 5 years, getting a last-ditch effort to try and turn his career around, one time a Pro Bowler. Just have to be thrilled for that young man. 2 years sober now, and whether he's on the Buccaneers football team or not, and he's certainly making a case for that here this evening. Just happy to see his life back in order.
They actually mark it at the 31, so for the record, an 18-yard gain. One timeout left for the Bucs, 30 seconds left in the half, and a tie game. Dilfer and Jackie Harris getting their signals straight. Dilfer flushed out. Now he's going to the end zone, and it is a touchdown, Tampa Bay. Charles Wilson. Great throw and a great pattern run by Wilson. Beating Rod Jones.
And what a shot by Trent Dilfer. If you ever question his arm strength, you will know more. On the move, fired that bullet to Charles Wilson. And he had his best year last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just zing this ball in there. And I don't think Rod Jones thought that Trent Dilfer could get that one there that quickly.
Zip. You know, Wilson had as many touchdowns in the NFL last year as Alvin Harper did for the Dallas Cowboys. So he is not any stranger to the end zone. Husted's extra point is good, and just like that, Sam Wyche has got to be thrilled with the way Dilfer handled his 2-minute drill.
And that offense answering the big play of the Cincinnati Bengals. They didn't let it bother them. Came right back out on the field, took it the length of the field in very short order.
So Charles Wilson, fifth-year man out of Memphis, used to be called Memphis State, but I understand they want to be called the University of Memphis.
Yes.
Catches the pass from Trent Dilfer out of Fresno State.
And you know, Charles Wilson's a guy that has always made big plays. A career 17.5 yards per catch. That's a big number. And last season he was even better than that. 21 yards per catch on 31 catches for the season. So he's a guy that knows how to make something happen, and I don't think there's much question that Charles Wilson's going to be a part of this football team, along with Horace Copeland, who looked so good in that first week, and of course Lawrence Dawsey will be there. Courtney Hawkins having a tremendous camp so far for the Buccaneers, and everyone knows Alvin Harper is going to be a part of the mix. Also Tyree Davis having a nice camp so far for the Buccaneers.
And you make a good point about Rod Jones, the former Buck there, defending that play, Chris. I think he was maybe the most surprised guy in the stadium when he saw that rocket coming his way.
Well, I really think that he thought he was in good position. He was sort of lying there in wait, and all of a sudden Dilfer just shot a bullet out of that guy.
Husted drills this one real deep in the end zone and not taking any chances, and downing it is David Dunn. That was 9 yards deep. It's almost 80 yards in the air, friends. You try that at home sometime. 5 plays the scoring drive. Now, honestly, that was a great bit of 2-minute offense by Dilfer. But were the Bengals in one of those prevent modes that let you pick up the yardage?
Oh, everybody's always in a prevent mode at the end of the game.
Why, Chris? Why?
They don't want to give up the big play. Of course, that's the reason they'll always give.
The old office joke, the prevent defense does one thing, it prevents you from winning. And just taking a knee by order of his head coach is Blake, and that'll run out the clock. So they were standing here about 5 minutes ago. Now they're sitting, and some of them are booing. But it's a great night so far for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bengals and Dave Shula head to the locker room, but they're trailing by 7. Our halftime score, Tampa Bay 14 and the Bengals 7. And it's time now for the Taco Bell second quarter summary. And I think we'd have to summarize that second quarter in that play we just saw, that pass from Dilfer to Charles Wilson.
Yeah, and more than that, if the Buccaneers are going to have a chance in this 1995 season, that man right there, Trent Dilfer, is going to be the guy. No question about it. He has to come up big, and he certainly did in this first half.
Well, Trent Dilfer has to be feeling very, very good about himself in comparison to last week and tonight. So Dilfer and the Buccaneers lead it 14-7. We'll be back with more from Riverfront Stadium with the score at the half. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 14 and the Cincinnati Bengals 7. Julie Brannon. Let's join Patrick Emery and Julie Brannon with a special halftime edition of 44 News at 10.
Now, a halftime update from 44 News at 10.
Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Looks like we've got a pretty darn good game.
Oh, yeah.
A special halftime edition now of 44 News at 10.
And we begin appropriately with the Buccaneers and a plan to build a new stadium for the team. Hillsborough County Commissioner Joe Shula believes a lottery scratch-off game is the ticket to raising the money for a new stadium. But some educators worry a stadium lottery will mean fewer dollars for schools. 44 News reporter Catherine Bursch will have more about the plan and the debate during our newscast following the game.
Layoffs, lots of them, are planned at the Home Shopping Network. Company officials announced today that some 200 employees are going to be getting pink slips soon. This year alone, Home Shopping has lost more than $18 million. In all, 1,000 jobs will be eliminated. Attrition will take care of what the layoffs do not.
An update now for you on the lightning strike that killed a man yesterday. Police have released the victim's name. He is 25-year-old Gerardo Zarola. He took a direct hit as he was leaving a migrant field in Mayaca City. 2 of his fellow workers were also hurt, but not seriously. The Coast Guard has called off the search tonight for a father and daughter missing in the Gulf since Hurricane Aaron hit last week. On Tuesday, a Jacksonville shipping company received a radio call saying the 2 were picked up by a boat headed to Mexico, but it looks more and more like that call was bogus.
Tropical Storm Gabrielle is bearing down in hurricane strength now on the northeast section of Mexico. Already the effects of the storm are being felt in the southern areas of Texas. Residents around Brownsville, for example, getting hit by strong rain and heavy wind right now.
But here in Florida, it's Hurricane Felix we're keeping our eyes on. Bill Logan's up next with more on that system and the forecast closer to home. Stay tuned.
Buccaneer Bucs. Tonight, after the game, the Bucs lottery idea hits Tallahassee. Will they scratch and win a new stadium? Plus, Felix Watch. This hurricane's big. Is it headed our way? Get the latest on the fury of Felix. All the news after the game. 44 News at 10.
My name is Thomas Vale, or so I thought.
Who are you?
I am Thomas Vale. Bruce Greenwood stars in Nowhere Man.
Premieres August 28th.
Sure dime. Shawshank Redemption. Morgan Freeman, Tim Robbins. Good chemistry. Friendship. Road movie. Only here's the catch. They ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, it's a weekly series. Typical LA family. Elective surgery, identity crisis, housekeeper from hell. Deep. It's deep, but it's deep in a surface level. It's like a surface deep. It just goes right.
Okay, this is an original Kurt Vonnegut property. Years 2053. Mind control. Society of intellectually mediocre people.
Love it.
I knew you would.
Talk about edgy. Showtime. Talk about exciting.
I'm a producer. Get it in gear with a new GMC Sonoma 5-speed with 118 horses under the hood. Whoa, boy! So you can haul all kinds of stuff. With all this room, you can almost live in it. No more rents. And don't forget safety. In fact, Sonoma's so much fun, let's do that again. The GMC Sonoma 5-speed. A fun way to save some serious dough. Get it in gear at your Suncoast GMC truck dealer now.
A new technique for installing putty-like insulation may be the answer to avoiding a shuttle catastrophe. NASA officials say that the change in assembly procedures may prevent hot gases from burning seals on the shuttle's solid rockets. There was evidence of that problem on the last 2 shuttle flights. By the way, the Shuttle Endeavour lifts off later in the month.
The Caribbean may luck out. Hurricane Felix, the strongest storm of the season, is moving away. But is he still a threat to Florida? Bill Logan standing by with some answers. Bill.
And, Julie, it looks like this thing may just zip right by like a Trent Dilfer pass right into the Atlantic. Right now, here is where Felix is. Let's go ahead and take a look at the current coordinates. He's about 800 miles to the southwest of Bermuda. 85-mile-per-hour winds moving to the northwest at about 18 miles per hour. But it looks like the path is going to go like this and then curve northward. We're going to keep an eye on it, though, because it may be affecting our weather throughout the weekend. Right now, 84 degrees outside, humidity up at about 75%. The winds out of the east, and the barometer is on the rise as well. Overnight tonight, we can expect some partly cloudy conditions down to a low of about 75. We'll have the exclusive AccuWeather forecast and all the weather details coming up after the game.
Thank you very much, Bill. They have an organized army, and they're invading Florida. Coming up tonight on 44 News, those pesky, problematic, and sometimes deadly fire ants. What's up with the bad-tempered bugs, and what's being done to rid the state of them? Some answers after the game.
Well, we start with football, and we end with football. The Gators are back on the gridiron with head coach Steve Spurrier looking on. The team went through conditioning drills in the 90-degree heat. It is the first practice of the new season. The Gators are ranked 5th in the USA Today poll. By the way, the first game in September on the 2nd, and it'll be against the University of Houston. But boy, have we got a barn burner of a game going on up there in Cincinnati Riverfront Stadium, or is that Three Rivers in Pittsburgh? Riverfront, I know that stadium. That's our report for right now. Thanks for being with us. I'm Patrick Emerson.
And I'm Julie Brannon. Be sure to join us after the game for a special late edition of 44 News at 10. Until then, hey, go Bucs. See you.
It's the summer's hottest event. Mitsubishi's Summer of Thunder may be your last chance for the best savings ever on a Galant S. Lease for just $0 down and $249 a month for 36 months. And only Mitsubishi adds $500 cash back to this offer on a Galant S with automatic transmission, air conditioning, power windows and door locks, and more. $0 down and $500 cash back during the Summer of Thunder. From Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
More carbos. 89% of top athletes polled
Más carbohidrato.
prefer more carbos. With 33% more carbos than Gatorade, it's Powerade.
Actually, I'm tired, though.
Oh, here we go again.
I drove all day, and now I'm knocking and pinging.
I don't care.
You don't care that I knock and ping.
It's not that I don't. Well, actually, no, I don't care.
Do you know why I knock and ping?
Why?
Because I need a higher octane gas.
So?
But you get Chevron Supreme with Techron. I can't believe that.
Because I'm a car that's designed for high octane.
But I'm the one that's knocking and pinging.
Whose fault is that?
It's not mine.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
No premium outperforms new Chevron Supreme with Techron. Chevron, simply smarter.
No. Yes. No, it isn't.
Not even a little bit.
Really?
Oh. Hated it. Eric Rett with the first touchdown of the night with a powerful run. Jeff Blake coming back and answered with this bomb to Darnay Scott, and it looked like the momentum was going to shift to the Cincinnati Bengals as the celebration began in Riverfront, but it was short-lived. Trent Dilfer with a nice little escape, and then the rocket shot. That was some pass there to Charles Wilson.
And at the signature, I think, play of the first half for the Tampa Bay Bucs. I mean, everything was going against them. They're on the road. They gave up a tying touchdown late in the half, and bang, before Cincinnati could gloat, there it was back in their face again.
And how about that turnover stat? 0. That is what you wanted to see more than anything else out of the Buccaneers, and especially out of Trent Dilfer tonight. But very impressive performance. And almost all of Cincinnati's offensive numbers put up after the Buccaneers' first-string defense was on the sideline.
And you look at the turnovers also. The bagel there for the Cincinnati Bengals is encouraging, because this is a team, Cincinnati, had the worst turnover ratio in the National Football League last year with a -23. So both head coaches have to be happy about that. If you're Dave Shula from the Cincinnati standpoint, anything to really be happy about?
No, not really. I thought his team got dominated. They made a couple of big plays there, and really but for that 3rd down and 17 scramble on the part of Jeff Blake, they would have been shut out here in the first half. Made the big connection with Darnay Scott. But the one thing that I guess the one negative for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you're looking for that, this is a team that really had trouble with the interception a year ago. They didn't get the number of turnovers. They did get better pressure than what they did last season. Of course, they were last in sacks and in interceptions, and those two things can go hand in hand. So, I don't know, maybe the fact that they didn't get a turnover, something that certainly Rusty Tillman would like to see a little more emphasis placed on that this year.
Here at Cincinnati, the fans are going to be looking forward to David Klingler. He will run the show if the form goes as we are told here in the second half. And Klingler, of course, who put up all those great numbers at the University of Houston, now in his 4th year in the NFL, #1 draft pick back in '92. He had a good night against Indianapolis last week, Chris. 13 out of 16, 177.
And really, it was the best that I had seen David Klingler play since coming here to Cincinnati. He had a little bit of surgery on his elbow. He had some roughness in there. And they really think that he has a shot to be the starting quarterback again. I would have given him 0 chance coming into this season, but he played so well a week ago against the Colts that certainly that competition is up for grabs.
As for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, other than Trent Dilfer, we talked the line, share the time about him, and with good reason. But Eric Rett, very impressive on that first drive. And I thought Jerry Ellison, second game in a row, he's shown some spark. And Bobby Joe Edmonds also with some good play.
Yeah, and it was good to see Jackie Harris in there catching a few balls as well. And let's give some credit to that offensive line. Charles McCray gave up the 1 sack, but Paul Gruber, Ian Beckles with a sensational first half, I thought, working against Big Daddy and some of the big guys on that defensive line for the Bengals. Tony Mayberry playing well. Scott Dill holding his own over there on the right-hand side. So, and they played pretty much the first half. You really got the feeling that Sam wanted to see that offensive line working with Trent Dilfer. And now, at least what I understand is that Dilfer is going to come out of the game for the 3rd quarter. They're going to play Todd Philcox and Kelly Holcomb, but there's a good chance Dilfer will go back in for the 4th quarter.
And a reminder, around the NFL, cut-down day, one of the several cuts before opening day is coming up, so you're going to see a lot of 2nd and 3rd and maybe even 4th line people in there. Warren Sapp, of course, is a first line right tackle for the Bucs, but if you tuned in late, Warren is not feeling well, has the flu. He did not play tonight. And that allows more playing time for the likes of Santana Dotson, Brad Culpepper.
And I thought Santana Dotson took advantage of that in the first half. He looked sharp. Eric Curry looked like he was returning to form. And Warren Sapp a week ago, he is a load. I saw him in the national championship game. I called that game last year for NBC. And he was just flat out sensational. Ran out of steam a little bit in the 4th quarter against Nebraska, but he was unstoppable. They never really blocked him the entire ballgame.
One thing Warren Sapp had to say after his first NFL preseason game, his first exposure last week, they said, how did you feel out there? He says, well, I made some good plays, but I found out what holding truly means. It's an art form in the NFL.
Professional holders in this league, and they let them get away with it. The referees, especially when you're working against a rookie, a little bit like the National Basketball Association, the rookies are not going to get many calls.
Well, there's David Klingler. Those are his stats last week at the RCA Dome. I think that's what they call it now. It used to be the Hoosier Dome. Got to keep track of all these sponsorships. But Klingler had a good night. And, of course, the numbers he racked up with the Houston Cougars in his college days were astronomical. And he would just load her up and go. And got the big bucks, and they're waiting for big returns here in Cincinnati.
But he played that run and shoot when he was in Houston, and now trying to adapt to the drop back passing style. And apparently this has been by far his best training camp.
All right, Michael Husted moves into the second half kickoff. It's a line driver bouncing several times, picked up at about the 8-yard line by David Dunn. And David Dunn is hit at about the 30 and powers over the 35 to the 38-yard line, making first contact. I believe that was Eric Rett for Tampa Bay. Unless I have my numbers confused. Nope, no, I do have it confused. Martin Mayhew.
You have a major story if that's Eric Rett chasing that kick.
Looked for a moment that 35 was crumpled up and looked like 32, but I didn't think that would be the case, and somebody's down for Tampa Bay. The ball is out at the 37-yard line. Cincinnati will have its best field position of the night when we return to Riverfront Stadium in just a moment.
The lease rate looks good, but I want it with no down payment.
Now, get 0 down payment leases at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. That's right, the leases you want with the best number you can get. 0 down payment. Example, lease the hot-selling Plymouth Neon for this low monthly rate with 0 down payment. Get it now at Chrysler Plymouth, the 0 down payment leases. We hear you. Only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, the leasing store.
What do I think it is?
A wafer.
What is this? A circular...
Well,
Introducing the Teledyne Water Pick pour-through water filter. The only one that filters tap water the natural way.
So there's to it?
It pours right out. So even if you like your water, night and day difference.
This one tastes clean. Fresher, cleaner.
This will make it taste better.
There is a difference, and it does taste cleaner.
Nice and cold.
The new pour-through filter only from Teledyne Water Pick.
Everybody's buying water now. This is the answer to it.
For the retailer nearest you, please call 1-800-525-2774.
DeVille has the roomiest interior of any front-wheel drive car in America. DeVille holds its value 12 percentage points better than the Lincoln Town Car. Count on Cadillac this summer, because right now, current Cadillac owners can lease the DeVille at its lowest lease rate of the year. Only $399 a month for 24 months with $1975 down. Cadillac, creating a higher standard. The Cadillac dealers of Florida, the luxury leaders.
The bodies fly fast and furious on kickoff and punt returns, and rookie linebacker Dwayne Harris out of Nebraska and carried off on the cart. Let's hope it's not too serious.
A little bit reminiscent of what happened to Alvin Harper a week ago. He got that left ankle trapped underneath him, and the pile landed on the back of his leg. Leading the way there, he's sort of out in front, a little bit stumbling and turning back. Now watch the pile come down on the back of his left leg as he folds back over.
Now back to live action. David Klingler, his first action of the night for the Cincinnati Bengals. 1st and 10 at the 37. And the give is to Harold Green, the veteran, and Green rumbles around left end for about 8.5 yards. Over there to meet him, Mike Magruder and Wardell Rouse.
Harold Green, an interesting story for the Cincinnati Bengals. Here's a guy that played in the Pro Bowl a couple of years ago, just had a phenomenal year, and has been in and out of the doghouse ever since. He made a concerted effort to try and get out of Cincinnati, and of course that led to the drafting of Kajana Carter, and now there's some question whether or not Harold Green is even going to be able to make this ball club this year.
Well, he's being pushed by a rookie out of Wisconsin named Jason Burns, and that's a lot of people have their eyebrows raised. Burns ran for 52 yards and 13 carries last week, but Harold Green says, give me that thing, I'll pick up a first down.
He's a good back. He's not flashy, not sensational at all, but he knows that his work is cut out for him if he's going to make this football team.
Terry Mock made the tackle on Green, but Harold Green rumbles for the first down up to the 48-yard line. Klingler yet to throw his first pass in this game. Takes care of that off the hands of Green and almost intercepted. Oh, Lynch had a chance at it. Also had Tony Stargell.
Well, if anything typifies the problems that the Buccaneers had last year trying to get those interceptions, that was it. There was a ball just simply up in the air for whoever wanted it off the helmet of Harold Green, and well, just good hustle on the play. Lynch going after it, Tony Stargell going after it, and they break it up from each other. 2 interceptions. Led the way last year. Hardy Nickerson and Martin Mayhew both with 2.
Klingler, quick drop. Gets it out on the flat to David Dunn. Short of the first down, though, as Stargell closed fast on the play.
In the secondary now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Melvin Johnson getting his opportunity. They took a look at Thomas Everett, of course, coming off of that eye injury, but now a great chance for Melvin Johnson to prove his worth. They're going to give him a good long look here in the second half.
Saw the numbers on David Dunn there. He, too, went to Fresno State. Brought a few passes in his college days from Trent Dilfer. Green in motion. Klingler lets it go off the hands of one receiver, and is it picked off? It is. Tampa Bay has it, and the man with the pickoff is 25, Melvin Johnson.
I love a guy who answers on cue. Melvin Johnson had the opportunity, and he made the play. And boy, I'm going to tell you, that goes a long way with this coaching staff after the way they struggled last year to get those interceptions.
We'll take another look at it when we come back to the Queen City in just a moment. Buccaneers lead it.
too hot in your car? Don't sweat it. Now at Pep Boys, get a cool deal on our air conditioning quick check for just $19.99. Our AC quick check only $19.99. Come to Pep Boys now. Now at Pep Boys, get any 4 of our 35,000-mile all-season steel-belted tires at an incredible low $109. That's right, any 75 or 80 series, any 4, just $109 at Pep Boys now.
No more talking, no more waiting. Now's the time for action. It's Pontiac closeout time. Hundreds of new 95 Pontiacs still in stock. Look at that selection. Get $1,000 closeout cash back on full-size Bonnevilles. $1,000 cash back on new 95 Pontiac Transports. Act now. Get $500 cash back on new Grand Ams. $500 cash back on new Grand Prix sedans. Hurry to close out 95. See your local Florida Pontiac dealers. Act now.
Introducing an instant classic, the Checkers Sourdough Barbecue Burger. Just look at what this baby's got under the hood. A quarter pound of pure beef, topped with cheddar cheese, crispy bacon, onion, and our signature barbecue sauce, all on toasted sourdough bread. And now, for a limited time, this beauty can be yours for an incredible $1.49. But you better hurry. It won't be idling around for long. The new Sourdough Barbecue Burger, now only $1.49. Another classic from Checkers.
They say in sports, it's not how you do it, it's do you do it. The Buccaneers come up with a pick, but it took a circuitous route into the hands of Melvin Johnson.
A little ricochet rabbit here. This ball is going to bounce off a couple of Bengals' hands. First of all, David Dunn, number 80, has a chance for it through his fingertips. Then Jeff Hill is really going to catch the football, and Melvin Johnson says thank you very much, and takes it right away.
And Trent Dilfer and company going for the big play on first down. Horace Copeland, he's got it. Copeland at the 10. He will score. "56 yards, and Tampa Bay scores again.
Well, that time Trent Dilfer got away with one. The ball a bit underthrown, and High C just simply making the play of the ball game so far. Going back, fighting for the football, always competitive, always has been. Made the play, the defenders fall down, and he walks into the end zone. Reminiscent of the pass he threw last week, a bit underthrown, but a good wide receiver comes back and makes that play. Sensational effort by Horace Copeland.
Horace Copeland definitely has a flair for the dramatic. Houston's extra point is up and good, and with 12:26 to go in the third quarter, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take a 21-7 lead. We'll show you that one again. I am sure Mr. Copeland, the former Hurricane, can't taking the wind out of the sails of Cincinnati tonight.
Corolla, a benchmark of quality for 28 years. It's Toyota's nationwide sales event. It's the best time to get the best. Corolla, a hot $189 a month lease puts you into the last of the new 95s. $189 a month. Incentives, options, and cash back could save you a smoking $2,400 on Corolla. Hurry into your Toyota dealer. A sales event as hot as this won't last. Toyota.
But most of this airline's fleet is modern enough to meet those quieter standards 5 years ahead.
This is Mount Everest, world's biggest mountain. This is Ford Escort, America's biggest selling small car. Now with the year's biggest deal. 3.9 financing or $600 cash back on every Escort in stock. That includes the sporty GT if you're big on style, and the wagon if you've got a big one of these. So if you were thinking of climbing this today, put your plans on this. Hurry to your local Southern Ford dealer for 3.9 financing or $600 cash back. Turns out you don't have to move these to get this great deal.
Why is Sam Wyche joking with Trent Dilfer? You would too if you had a couple of throws like Dilfer's had.
You got to love those 11-second drives. That's back-to-back touchdown passes now for Trent Dilfer. He had the one to end the first half of 31 yards and comes right back with one of 56 yards, his first pass of the second half. And you know Sam Wyche, after that trade of Craig Erickson, has to be breathing a sigh of relief here tonight.
So Dilfer has been spectacular and getting some help from his receivers, to be honest with you, tonight as well. The combination hard to beat as David Dunn takes Husted's kickoff short of the 20-yard line. He was hit at about the 19 by a host of Buccaneers in the special team unit. There's the scoring drive. Boy, it took a long time, didn't it?
Sam will tell you it takes a genius to have those one-play scoring drives like that.
Copeland, in his college career at Miami, I can remember him making many difficult catches. It was the easy ones he seemed to have problems with. Last week against the Jets, he nearly gave everybody a heart attack with that catch late in the game as the Bucs almost pulled it out. And tonight, let's face it, that was not a great throw by Dilfer. Horace Copeland made it that way.
And it's interesting now that Horace Copeland has really become the guy for this Tampa Bay offense, and it's not Lamar Thomas. Lamar Thomas was the guy that everybody thought coming out of college would be the better of the two receivers.
Bengal leaving the field injured. Lamont Holliquist, linebacker, third-year man out of Southern Cal. So here's Klingler's second foray with the football. 1st and 10 from the 20. Under some pressure, gets it away, and dropping the football and incurring the wrath of the local populace, Tony McGee. Wide open at the 25 and not many folks around it.
This has been a bit of an uninspired performance so far by the Cincinnati Bengals. They had that one big play, but a lot of penalties tonight, a lot of drop balls. And for David Klingler, it has to be frustrating. He had 2 people drop the ball on the interception.
Klingler so far tonight 1 out of 4 for 7 yards and an INT. Into the flat. This one almost picked off. Is it picked off or not? The Buccaneers say they have it. The official's initial signal is incomplete. David Dunn, the receiver.
Yeah, nice play on the outside there by Clifton Abraham. He's a guy that is going to get a good long look tonight. He definitely needs a good strong performance. Kind of one of the guys there on the bubble. He'll be battling along with Jerry Wilson. Of course, Jerry gave up the long play here tonight, so those two guys really in competition for one of those final spots.
12 minutes still remaining here in the third quarter. Numbers as I just recited to you on Klingler. Second down or the third down and 10. Klingler, some pressure, gets it away to David Dunn. There's a flag in the offensive backfield, and there goes Dunn. Inside Buccaneer territory. Let's see who the flag is against. He's out of bounds at the 42. Bring it back. It will not count. Holding is the call on Cincinnati. And a Cincinnati Bengal football player is down on that play.
I think that's Tim McGee, veteran wide receiver. And if I'm not mistaken, it looked like Herman Smith, the right end for the Buccaneers, really got tackled on the play, and that was the reason for the flag.
Well, you were a teammate of Tim McGee here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, really a terrific player. Had a sensational year about 1988 or so. 1,300 yards receiving.
Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. Third down.
88, of course, the year that the Bengals won the AFC Championship. And while they tend to Tim McGee, 11:53 to go in the third quarter, we'll tend to business. We'll be back with more Buccaneers preseason football in a moment.
The lease rate looks good, but I want it with no down payment.
Now get 0 down payment leases at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. That's right, the leases you want with the best number you can get. 0 down payment. Example, lease the hot-selling Plymouth Neon for this low monthly rate with 0 down payment. Get it now at Chrysler Plymouth, the 0 down payment leases. We hear you. Only at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer, the leasing store.
It's the hippest place to be, the greatest party on the sea, on the Gulf of Mexico, Empress Cruise Line. Toss away the tide, leave the pearls behind, take a chance, dance and dine, Empress Cruise Line. Lady Luck lives by your side every day and every night. Florida's favorite party ship, Empress Cruise Line. The heat is on.
The heat is on now at your local Mercury dealer during the Mercury Clearance Countdown with hot deals on some of the year's best cars, like Mercury Villager, the minivan that drives like a car, with front-wheel drive, standard V6 engine, standard four-wheel ABS, and fingertip flexible seating. Plus, now you can get a new Villager with a great low lease rate. So come in now while the deals are hot during the Mercury Clearance Countdown at your local Mercury dealer.
The heat is on.
Yeah, you're right. Welcome back to Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, and another injury taking some time with Tim McGee. Now, he is not the man with the ball. Watch the top of your screen. Let's see if we can see what happened, Chris.
Very top right of your screen, Tim McGee is going to take a shot. It didn't look like he hit on his helmet. Of course, that's always the number one concern with all the neck injuries that you have in the National Football League. And Tim, a tremendous competitor, really a nice guy. Just hate to see anything like this happen, and they are really crowded around him. A lot of concerned people. They've had to shoo some of his teammates away from him, and they have the cart out on the field now.
36-yard gain, but that pales in comparison right now to the concern by the Bengals and, for that matter, the Bucs, everybody, for Tim McGee. And
that's the board you don't like to see.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Sometimes to the naked eye, an innocent-looking play, and you know better than most. You played this game for several years at this level, Chris. There's no way in the stands you can get a feel for how fast the bodies are flying and how hard the hits are out there.
And you always look for a little movement on the part of the player, but from the time that Tim hit the turf, he really has not even moved around very much. I'm sure they're telling him to be still. But obviously a lot of concern here in the stadium now for Tim McGee.
And a hush has fallen over this crowd. Not to make light of the situation at all as they continue to tend to Tim McGee, but take care of some business now related to the Tampa Bay Bucs. We want to remind you that it's time for the annual Meet the Bucs luncheon. That's at the Hyatt Regency in Tampa, August 24th. Tickets on sale. Reservations can be made by calling 870-1300 extension 221. They call it Huddle Up with the Bucs. That's the Meet the Bucs luncheon, 24th at the Hyatt Regency Tampa, 870-1300 extension 221. And all the thoughts of everybody in the stadium now with Tim McGee. They're taking no chances at all. Of course, every stadium didn't used to be this way. They're equipped with x-ray machines and all sorts of stuff that in the bad old days they didn't have here.
Yeah, and believe me, you don't want to anticipate the best, I guess, here in the situation, but every time a player has any sort of a neck injury now, they do take every single precaution possible because of the nature of that injury. And the good news, I guess, if you're looking, you see Tim right there at the top of your screen. He's going to take the blow on the back of the head.
It's just, we can't speculate. It's not the right thing to do, and really, even if you wanted to, I'm not sure how you would call that. We'll let the doctors do the speculating, and hopefully we'll have some word on McGee. The Bengals were not the healthiest group coming into tonight's game, and already tonight Corey Sawyer suffered a mild concussion. And Brett Wallerstedt, nose tackle, has left the game due to exhaustion and dehydration. So it's been a rough night for the Cincinnati Bengals. The wagon you can deal with, where a player's sitting up and flexing a little bit. This is scary stuff. Happened with 11:53 to go here in the third quarter. Tim McGee, a 10-year veteran out of Tennessee. Had a couple of catches last week, one for a touchdown against Indianapolis.
This is one of those situations you'd love to see a little wave or something from Tim. Of course, I'm sure they're telling him, don't move. You see a little hand movement there. That's a good sign.
And they've got his head strapped down. He can't move that if he wanted to. Tim McGee being taken for medical attention.
You know, always the worst part about this game is that you have your family, you have your loved ones in the stands, and they really have no way of knowing either. And I can assure you there's not a whole lot worse than being a wife or a child and having to watch dad taken off the field like that. It sometimes makes you wonder about this game.
Yeah, it does. You know, Chris, and the thing is, you never know. I mean, you have to have a mentality as a professional athlete that you have to forget about that stuff, but it's always there.
It really is. You know, and the thing is, you go in the locker room every ball game and you know that really anything can happen out there.
Well, after the penalty, remember, that brought that big game back, the Bengals push back to their 10, and Klingler gets a first down on a throw to David Dunn. Macy Stevens knocked him out of bounds. So back to the mundane business of football.
A lot of substitutions now for Tampa Bay on the defensive side. They obviously don't have a lot of time now. This is sort of the game in which you want to take that final look at some of the players on the bubble, and after this week and the cuts that'll be made after this week, there'll be nothing but good football players left in the Buccaneer uniform.
Klingler with a pitch out to Harold Green, who's getting a lot of playing time this third quarter. He cuts back over the 35 to the 37-yard line. Green, who had his most lackluster season a year ago, being only about 220 yards, 16 yards tonight.
And really just didn't get that much of an opportunity a season ago. And this was a Bengals offensive line that was pretty poor a year ago. And really, they didn't do a whole lot to improve it very much. So that's still the question mark coming in for Cincinnati.
2nd down and 4, 6-yard pickup by Green. Klingler all the way to the right, hands his man. That's Jeff Hill. He gets away. Gets away again, out of bounds to the 30-yard line. Jeff Hill with a nice play. The youngster out of Purdue, Melvin Johnson, batted him out of bounds.
And they really like Jeff Hill here. He's from a high school locally, went to Purdue. And really just a very simple pattern, but what he does with it after he makes the catch is the difference. And Jerry Wilson having a tough night so far, gave up the long touchdown and now allowing a very simple completion to go for big yardage.
35 yards to be exact. The ball is on the Buccaneer 28. Green back in. He'll pick up 2 or 3 on the play. Word on Tim McGee is he has a concussion, Chris. He will be sent to Christ Hospital for a spinal evaluation.
Let's hope concussion. Concussion would be good. We'll take concussion.
Right now we take that and not even play the game. 2nd down and 7. David Rhodes goes to the top of the screen for Cincinnati. David Dunn to the bottom. Give is to Green, who's brought down in the backfield. Nice play there by the Buccaneers. Keith Poe.
And Keith Poe is supposed to be more of a pass rushing specialist than anything else. I really didn't even expect to see him in the ball game. He had a shoulder separations, had some physical problems, and he's made 2 or 3 plays out here tonight.
That'll mark it back at the 28-yard line, bring up a 3rd and 10. Dunn and Hill to the right, and Klingler has got his signals all mixed up, so he'll be forced to call a timeout with 8:49 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. And the Buccaneers in control by a count of 21-7. We'll take a moment. We'll be back to Cincinnati in just a moment.
Compact sport utility vehicle in initial quality. It's 4Runner, and the best time to get one is now. It's Toyota's nationwide sales event. Your Toyota dealer is offering hot 4Runner leases, nicely equipped at only $249 a month. There's hot leases on Avalon, Toyota's flagship, just $299 a month. Or lease the spacious Previa for $249 a month. 3 hot leases, 3 great deals. It's Toyota's nationwide sales event. Toyota.
At Boston Chicken, we started with honest-to-goodness meals. Chicken that's slow-roasted, juicy, and delicious, as well as freshly prepared side dishes, like our mashed potatoes made from scratch. But now, we're so much more. Introducing the new Boston Market, a place where you can go for great home-style meals, like rotisserie roasted turkey breast, double-glazed ham, and double-sauced meatloaf. Now we're more than just great chicken. We're the new Boston Market.
Now everybody's talking closeout, but we're talking Buick. Get $1,500 cash direct to you on Regal. Get $1,000 cash on LeSabre. Park Avenue, $1,500 cash to you. Whether you buy or lease, cash in now. Up to $1,500 cash whether you buy or lease at your Florida Buick dealer. What are you waiting for?
Wouldn't you really rather have? Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick?
Sam Wyche and the Tampa Bay Bucs with a 2-touchdown lead as we return to Cincinnati. Tom Mees along with Chris Collinsworth. 8:49 to go in the third, and the ball is sitting at the Buccaneer 28-yard line.
And Rusty Tillman does not want to see another touchdown go up on that board. His guys have played awfully well here tonight. This is a big third down play.
Tillman really getting into the game along the sidelines. All his troops over for a good pep talk during that timeout. See what they do on 3rd and 10. Over the middle, it's complete to David Dunn, and he fumbles the football. That was a completion and a fumble, and who's got it? It'll be up to the officials to find out. The Bucs are signaling they have it, but nobody in a striped shirt has made that determination. And it is Tampa Bay Buccaneer football. They've turned it over, have the Bengals again.
And that was a brilliant strip on that play. Absolutely premeditated all the way. I didn't really see who it was that came in to get the strip, but as soon as the catch was made, you saw the arm come in and the deliberate attempt to rake the ball out of his hands, out of David Dunn's hands. And just brilliant football play. Nice work in that secondary as you see the continued progress now of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they work on getting those turnovers.
Let's see if we can check out who did the stripping.
Coming right out of the top of your screen. Is that Melvin Johnson again?
No, it is not. That is number 26, Clifton Abraham. Abraham stripped it. And Dilfer goes back and completes a pass to Lamar Thomas around the 20-yard line. That's Philcox, not Dilfer. Todd Philcox in the game.
Todd Philcox, a former teammate of mine with Cincinnati. He's bounced around a little bit, played in Cleveland, actually played pretty well up there. Won a game or two for them in Cleveland in relief. And now getting his chance with the Buccaneers.
So Dilfer played until about the midway point of the third quarter before Philcox took over. He's in his 5th year out of Syracuse. Todd Philcox gives it to Jerry Ellison, and Ellison is wrapped up nicely, thank you, by Gerald Collins. No gain.
One of the things that Todd Philcox has going for him as he tries to make that the roster as a third quarterback is that he knows Sam Wyche's system. He was here in Cincinnati under Sam Wyche, has a good understanding of it, and even understands this hurry-up offense.
Flags on the play. Philcox gets away from the rush and just throws the ball into the turf. He was under a furious rush by Mike Flores, the former Philadelphia Eagle. Got away from that, but flags preceded all that action in the Bengals side of the football.
Looked like once again the Bengals tried a late substitution, and as they were running people on and off the field.
It is against Cincinnati.
Todd Philcox learned that trick back in 1986 or 87 under Sam Wyche.
12 men on the field on the defense. 5 yards. First down. No intentional grounding. Quarterback was out of the pocket, threw the ball back in the vicinity of the line of scrimmage.
I tell you, I love the way Dick Hantak is explaining it to the fans.
Yeah, the liberalized interpretation now of that intentional grounding rule, trying to protect those quarterbacks.
So that brings up a 1st and 10 after all that at the 25. And here's Ellison. Ellison up for a first down at the 36-yard line before being tackled there by number 34, Fernandez Vincent.
I'll tell you, Jerry Ellison is pleading his case to be a part of this football team, as has Bobby Joe Edmonds. They're getting the opportunity tonight because of the absence of Vince Workman.
Workman, of course, out of action. Maybe had a bit of a neck injury, if I'm not
right. Correct. That's exactly right.
First down up to the 36-yard line for Ellison. Fake to Ellison. Phil Cox under a rush and brought down. Well, you can't hold him out forever. And Ramondo Stallings, love that first name, Ramondo, out of San Diego State, gets credit for the sack.
Ramondo Stallings is one of those projects for the Cincinnati Bengals. Has one of those great bodies. He got drafted for his body alone. Physically, he has all the tools. Not a lot of football skills, but you give him enough chance to run down the quarterback. That's exactly what he's going to do.
Second down and 16 for Tampa Bay. Trent Dilfer retiring for the night, and what a show he put on this evening. Can't wait for the next game at home, week from tomorrow against Pittsburgh. Here's Ellison. Got back to the 30-yard line and did well to do that.
We should also say that Casey Weldon not playing in the game tonight, but he has certainly solidified his chances, and he is unquestionably the #2 quarterback on this team. They have been thrilled with his progress from a year ago. Spent a lot of time in the offseason working with Turk Schonert and with Sam Wyche, and he got banged around pretty good though last week. Sliced finger, clavicle injury, so he's sitting out tonight too.
Third down at 16. Let's see what Phil Cox comes up with now. Stays in the pocket. Tries to get out. Flag on the play. Pass is incomplete. You name it, we have it on that play. Now, Phil Cox tried to avoid the rush, and a flag came as some of the Bengals were on his back. And they grabbed his face mask. My goodness.